Hi, welcome to Professional Forte, another episode where we introduce the professionals and their forte. My name is Takeru Niha,
And my name is Bo.
and we're here with Mr. Woods.
Hello.
Take it away.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Wood. I teach music production, what I like to call audio engineering. We do many facets from commercials, video games, recording live, recording in the studio, and basically learn the science and the art behind recording.
Fantastic. Well, so how it works is we're gonna pick up the questions,
All right.
each of us, and we'll answer it. And there's gonna be follow-up questions. Oh, this is a very interesting one for this specific one. But what is the tips for practicing or playing music?
For practicing this craft,
Let's do that.
record everything you can think of, and usually you have lots of musician friends, so they're always rehearsing. So recording them is over and over again is great practice. You learn where to put the microphone, where not to put the microphone, what kind of microphone picks up best, depending on the instrument, if it's drums or a little flute. You totally pick a different microphone for that. And so yeah, just practice, just like when you pick up your instrument, you're going to sit down at your computer. These days, every laptop has a digital audio workstation in them, so there's no excuse not to practice.
Right. And so I see this really cool tables and
Yeah.
are these all for the recording?
It is. It's all for recording in this room, and thanks to Dante, the networking, I can record any room in the building sitting right here.
Wow. Wow, fascinating. Okay.
And my question is, how do you create work-life balance?
That's a good question, because in this business, a lot of rehearsals early morning. For example, this week we've had rehearsals at Rice University. It started at 8 in the morning, but then sometimes the concerts don't get out until 10 o'clock at night. So it's a lot of burning the candles at both ends. You learn to take naps in the middle of the day when you can. Absolutely.
You. Actually, I have a follow-up question to that. So when you're trying to figure out what to what kind of schedule to for the recording, right?
Mhm.
Do you receive the request in the previous days? How does this network?
It's a lot of communication between whoever is hiring you or whoever's in charge of the show, finding out what their rehearsal schedules are, when they'll be set up, when I can get into the building to set up my microphones, because sometimes I can't get into the building until they do. And as soon as they get in, they start setting up chairs to rehearse, and I'm all in their way.
Right.
So best case scenario is I can get there before them, set up my microphones so I'm not in their way, and then when they get there and start sitting down and warming up, I can use that half an hour as some sort of sound check to make sure I don't have any bad cables or everything's routed properly to the right inputs, and everything is good to go on my end. So the second they start rehearsal, I can already be recording, because performances, live performances, sometimes mistakes happen, and it's just a second or two, and we use those recorded rehearsals to splice in the second over that mistake so that nobody knows. So that's
That
why
makes sense.
recording rehearsals is almost as important as recording the show.
Wow. Next question. Oh, this is totally off topic, but any favorite video games?
Anything with cool noises.
Anything with cool.
Yeah,
games.
because it just makes me appreciate how much work went into the sound foley. Because video games are video. They don't call them sound games. I mean, so
Yeah.
video is really the stress. But when you can find a cool video game with good graphics that also has really good sounds and doesn't sound like a 1980s computer, something that sounds realistic and modern, and that's what really creates the realism of the game. Is the coupling between the good video and the good sound. And for me, I'm always listening.
Wow. Wow. I never like really into playing video games, but I do agree with what you say. Like I see like Legend of Zelda has like really cool soundtracks with like so detailed graphics. I always think very awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Always keep your ears open when you're playing video games or watching movies. My favorites are old movies where they filmed them in sound stages, so they weren't really out in nature. They weren't really doing these things. And then you'll notice a car chase and they're on dirt roads, but you'll still hear tires screeching as if they're on pavement because they added that sound later. And they didn't realize, oh, they're on dirt, but they're still going to add, city noises, into, screeching on pavement. It's like, I love picking out all these little mistakes that they do. But it's fun.
That sounds really fun.
What advice do you think was most important for younger players?
For younger players, just not to get discouraged, to keep practicing, and to realize that you start out with training wheels, and you don't instantly start jumping into the modern tools like this. So take what you can afford. Because usually price is everything when you first start out. You don't have money for microphones. You don't have money for a lot of the big plugins or equipment. So take your laptop, learn everything you can do with your laptop, because eventually you'll get more toys, and when you do, you'll learn those. But learning to walk and crawl before you start running is very important. So take advantage of what you have and use it to its fullest.
Basic always happens.
Are we going through these fast now?
Yes, we are very going through this fast. Oh! Okay, if you don't mind sharing, how was your college experience?
How's my what?
Your college, like a university.
Oh,
experience.
it was great. The one I went to was out on I-10 and Beltway 8. I think it's Town and Country. But anyway, the program was great because every Audio 1, Audio 2, Audio 3, every semester as you go up was a completely different soundboard, completely different signal flow and everything going through the board. So in every stage of the game, you learn broadcasting boards, you learn live sound boards, you learn recording consoles, you learn to record without consoles, you learn MIDI and digital stuff, you learn analog spacing in big rooms, small rooms, vocal booths. So every stage of the game it puts you in a different environment, and you had to learn what you knew from the previous environment and adapt it, and then learn more, and then put that on to the next stage. And I like the way it was progressing. They didn't give you everything all at once to it was so overwhelming. They just broke it off to you in increments with different technology and different procedures of how to make sound on different equipment.
That's unusual.
So I like that. I like that. You don't get that from opening a book. You're gonna get it. You can skip ahead to other chapters, but until you get your hands on the equipment and you get a feel of how the faders work and how the knobs turn and what actually happens with your ears when you turn the knob. And they talk a lot about hand-eye coordination through the baseball for batting practice. But doing this when you're sitting with your hands on the equipment, you develop a hand-ear coordination where you know halfway up it's going to sound like what. And without doing it 1,000 times, you're not going to have that experience. So it's good to get that.
Thank you.
My question is, as high schoolers, the idea of going into the music industry can be pretty intimidating. Do you have some advice for succeeding in the music industry, such as networking and making business connections?
Yes, don't expect too much at first, and try and be extremely helpful in every situation. You might show up, usually it starts out as an internship, unpaid, you're not getting anything but experience out of the situation. So get as much experience as you can. be ready to help at any at any situation. And after a while, you start to predict what the engineers need or want. You'll see them just look over at a wall that has a bunch of cables wrapped up, and any second he's going to ask for 3 or 4 cables, so he might as well go get them. And then when he turns to ask them and you already have them, you're his favorite intern already.
Yeah.
Because you're able to predict what he needs, and he doesn't have to wait for him. And just be that person that's always helpful. I mean, it might not be nothing but bringing somebody cables, bringing them coffee. I used to have to go to the bank and make deposits. I mean, as an intern, you are asked to do everything, and only half of it really has to do with your job quality. And they're just like, Ted, how helpful are you? And they're judging you like that. And then when they send all the other interns home at the end of the semester, hopefully you're the one that gets the job because you were there for them in every aspect.
Right.
And that's really what they're looking for. And that's how I got into Sugar Hill Recording Studio.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I started interning under one of the owners, Andy Bradley. And I still work for him today.
Wow.
So I guess I made a good impression.
Impression is very important.
It is. It's everything.
So one more question. What is your favorite song or piece?
Favorite song or piece?
Yes.
That's a hard one. I mean, out of all music,
Yes.
I don't know if I could accurately answer that, but here's one that I find very fun. Is for some reason Fury Lease has always got under my skin.
Mm.
If I hear just a couple notes of it in the morning, I'm like humming it all day long. At least the main part of it. And that happened to me this year during this class, and it gave me the idea for a recording project. And what I did is I took Fury Lease, a piano version, and I cut it down to like 1.5 minutes, just my favorite parts. And I brought it in here and I showed it to the class and said, this is what we're recording now. And they're like, really? So since I have a classroom full of musicians, I used my 1.5 minutes as a scratch track, just something for them to listen to and play along with. And so the violinist, the flute, I mean, everybody, whatever they played, they sat down and they played Fury Lease, at least that 1.5 minutes.
Wow.
And then we took it as a class, we edited all the mistakes out of the parts and made it all good. And it ended up being like 34 tracks of instruments. And then all the students had to sit down, and it was originally 1.5 minutes. Well, I looped it to be like 4 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So now they had a 4-minute song, 34 tracks of everything that they personally did themselves.
Wow.
And so they got the mix where maybe one person just wanted the flutes to be the intro. Some people wanted the violins.
Uh-huh.
We also recorded 3 different full drum set parts. So you could start out soft or start out really bashing or start out with the hand drums. So everybody got to put their personality into how the song, even though we've all heard Fury Lease, it was just everyone did their own remix.
Wow.
And so that was interesting to hear the different kids, how they would want to hear it in their remix. So that was a lot of fun. It's a catchy hook, Fury Lease, and I don't know, I just love listening to it. I could sit through it, I could grade all of the work because I didn't mind listening to it over and over. If you don't like the music, you're not going to want to listen to it over and over. And over is just nature of the game in this business.
Mm-hmm.
You will hear the same song 100 times. Sometimes just sections of the song over and over and over again. So that can get daunting and discouraging, but so you gotta be into what you're doing or you're not going to do it over and over.
Right.
Good question.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for today. And here is we have to end our episodes. Thank you for tuning in and see you next time.